The Road Warriors are widely considered as the greatest tag team of all time, finding huge popularity outside of the mainstream WWF in both America and Japan. Hawk and Animal's career as the Road Warriors, and later as the Legion of Doom, is legendary in its own right. Whether working as popular heroes or hated villains, Animal and Hawk earned a reputation for being among the toughest, meanest, most destructive competitors in all of professional wrestling. This video looks at the careers of Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors. So who do we have to thank for putting the Road Warriors together as a tag team? The man who paired up Hawk and Animal was Ole Anderson in Georgia Championship Wrestling. However, the idea came from Paul Ellering. Animal had already competed briefly as the Road Warrior before being paired up with Hawk. In 1983, they quickly had and lost the services of Paul Ellering, but would later rejoin Ellering in his Legion of Doom stable, which consisted of the Road Warriors, the Spoiler, Paul Ellering and Jake the Snake Roberts. So there you go, this is where the original name of the Legion of Doom came from. It was originally a stable that had more members than just Hawk and Animal. Animal later revealed in a WWF produced documentary that the Legion of Doom name was borrowed from the Super Friends cartoon, which was based on DC Comics superheroes. To look more intimidating, the two shaved their heads into mohawks and started wearing studded dog collars, leather chaps and face paint. Their gimmick was heavily influenced by the Mad Max films, in particular Mad Max 2. In Georgia, they won the NWA National Tag Team Championships 4 times before moving on to bigger promotions such as the American Wrestling Association in the USA and All Japan Pro Wrestling, winning more tag team titles. The Road Warriors broke out as nationally recognised stars with Vern Gagne's AWA in 1984. With Paul Ellering in tow, the Road Warriors were brought in by Gagne to work as heels, but their squash matches soon won over the fans. Throughout 1984 and 1985, they were the top drawing act in the AWA, of note is their feud with the Fabulous Freebirds. It was also in 1985 when the Road Warriors went to Japan and became insanely popular with Japanese wrestling fans. Their dominant performances, many of which were squash matches against some of the biggest teams in Japan, done much to help the Road Warriors grab headlines in Japanese magazines. They were incredibly over in Japan. Hawk and Animal would split their time between AWA, All Japan Pro Wrestling, and eventually Jim Crockett Promotions, gaining titles along the way and making a worldwide name for themselves. It can't be overstated the amount of work both Hawk and Animal put into working multiple promotions during this time. One of the most well-known matches in the long and storied careers of the Road Warriors is their clash with the legendary Midnight Express at Starrcade 1986. The scaffold match though is also remembered because of Jim Cornette, who took a nasty bump off the scaffold and blown out both of his knees. Not too sure what Cornette was thinking here, but it looks like he tried to land on his feet instead of his back. In 1988, as Jim Crockett Promotions was brought over by Turner Broadcasting and soon renamed WCW, the Road Warriors engaged in a violent feud with the Powers of Pain, who were known for being Road Warrior clones. The angle, however, came to an end when the Powers of Pain left the NWA after finding out they were booked against the Road Warriors in a series of scaffold matches, and they did not want to get hurt by falling off that scaffold. Also in 1998, fans were shocked when Hawk and Animal turned on Sting during a 6-man tag team match. On November 26th, they would take their ruthless actions a step further by attacking the American Dream Dusty Rhodes when they tried to rip out his eye using a spike. This was controversial as there was a no blading rule imposed on the company by Turner Broadcasting. Dusty was subsequently fired for the angle, but not before going to Starrcade 88 and defeating the Road Warriors along with his tag partner Sting. Their last big wins in WCW came when they won the Iron Man Tag Tournament at Starrcade 89 Future Shock the following year. Due to conflicts and heat with Booker Jim Herd, the Road Warriors left WCW in the spring of 1990. Before leaving, they had memorable matches again with the Midnight Express, the Samoan SWAT team, and the Skyscrapers. The Road Warriors immediately signed with the World Wrestling Federation and were pushed into a feud with Demolition. Vince McMahon thought the WWE already had too many Warriors, so the Road Warriors would lose their name and instead be renamed the Legion of Doom, the same name as the stable they were in during their days in Georgia. Separately though, both men were still called Road Warrior Hawk and Road Warrior Animal respectively. While the LOD versus Demolition feud should have been a big money draw, the matches didn't live up to expectations due to Demolition Axe being replaced with Crush due to health issues. The natural feud between the two teams never really reached the heights many fans had dreamed that it would. During the early part of the feud, LOD often teamed up with the Ultimate Warrior in 6-man tag matches against all 3 members of Demolition. Just over a year after signing with the WWF, the Legion of Doom won the WWF World Tag Team titles from the Nasty Boys at SummerSlam 1991. The pop that the Legion of Doom received after winning the titles was insane, something you should really go back and check out. It's an awesome moment. When the Legion of Doom came into the WWF, they were without their mouthpiece, precious Paul Ellering. When word got out that Ellering was joining the WWF to reunite with Hawk and Animal, there was certainly great excitement over the possibilities. That excitement was short-lived, as Ellering came along with a ventriloquist puppet named Rocco. Both Hawk and Animal hated Rocco. Animal said, "That puppet got mysteriously lost at the airport, I'll tell you that right now. After SummerSlam, that thing were gone. They did the puppet because Hawk and I sold a lot of action figures. They were trying to find a softer side of the Road Warriors. We have spiked shoulder pads on. No way you're going to find a softer side to the Road Warriors. It was their idea, and Hawk and I hated it." After SummerSlam 1992, Road Warrior Hawk went AWOL. Animal went ahead and finished his contractual obligations with the WWF as a singles wrestler, but a bad back injury caused by a botched suplex put Animal on the injured list. An injury so bad that it took Animal completely out of the WWF. Hawk headed back to Japan, this time for New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he started a new tag team, the Hellraisers, with an emerging New Japan star named Kensuke Sasaki, dubbed the Power Warrior. The two would keep that Road Warriors gimmick, capturing the IWGP tag titles on 2 occasions. Sasaki would also go on to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in 1998. In 1994, Hawk would also have a singles run with Extreme Championship Wrestling. In 1996, Animal would reunite with Hawk in WCW once again as the Road Warriors. Due to New Japan Pro Wrestling's alliance with WCW, Hawk had been sporadically working for WCW again since he left the WWF in 1993, but it was only as a bit player and occasional tag partner for Sting. Reunited with Animal, the Road Warriors jumped into the WCW Tag Team division with feuds against the Faces of Fear and the Steiner Brothers. But once again, new management didn't share the same vision of the Road Warriors, and after falling out with Eric Bischoff, the duo departed WCW by the end of the year. The Legion of Doom made a surprise WWE return on the February 24th, 1997 edition of Monday Night Raw, where they destroyed the Headbangers. Upon their return, they also took part in a Chicago street fight at WrestleMania 13, teaming up with Ahmed Johnson to take on the Nation of Domination. LOD would go on to feud with the Hart Foundation, which included being on the opposing Team USA in their classic Canadian Stampede in Your House match. The Legion of Doom would also once again capture Tag Team Gold when they defeated the Godwins, and they would also go on to help build up the new team of Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. A humiliating attack perpetrated by Shawn Michaels and Triple H in December 1997 would instigate a Legion of Doom split that would result in a departure from television for nearly 2 months. Then came WrestleMania 14. At WrestleMania 14, Animal and Hawk returned with a brand new look as LOD 2000, and with Sonny as their manager, they won a huge tag team battle royal at the event. They earned a tag team title opportunity as a result of their win, but would fail in their quest to regain the gold. Unfortunately, the win at WrestleMania 14 would be the last real highlight for LOD and the World Wrestling Federation. As their run was coming to a close, Hawk's long-time struggles with alcohol and drug abuse were taking its toll, even being worked into a rather uncomfortable storyline. By the spring of '99, the duo once again departed from the WWF. On leaving the company at the time, Animal said, "Hawk was a partier and got suspended a few times. One of the times he got suspended was for 3 months. You're not going to put me on TV without Hawk, so when he got a 3-month vacation, I got a 3-month vacation. That's literally what happened. That's why we left." Hawk's personal problems would continue to get worse. His health took a bad turn in 2001 when he was diagnosed with a serious heart condition. In 2003, with all hope lost though, he, alongside Animal, became born-again Christians through the help of former WWE superstar, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. Their newfound faith brought a new lease of life to LOD as they made appearances in TNA, but they only ever wrestled one match for the company. In May 12, 2003, the Legion of Doom returned to the WWE for one last time, challenging the WWE World Tag Team Champions Kane and Rob Van Dam on Monday Night Raw. Although LOD lost the match, Hawk was in the best condition he'd been in for years, and the two were optimistic about having one more proper run with the WWE. But sadly, the final run just didn't occur. Months later, Hawk's heart condition would catch up to him, and on October 19, 2003, he was dead from a heart attack. He was 46 years old when he passed away. Hawk's friends say that he and his wife Daly bought a condo near their current home and were packing their boxes the night before. Hawk said that he felt tired and went to take a nap. When his wife checked on him at about 1 AM, he had died of a sudden heart attack. At the time of his death, Hawk and Animal were actually working on a book about their careers. Animal would return to the WWE for an ill-fated, short-lasting and basically shit version of LOD, along with Heidenreich in 2005. The highlight of this team came when they won the Tag Team Championships, and Animal dedicated the win to his fallen brother Hawk. This new chapter of LOD came to an end when Heidenreich was released from the WWE. Personally, I feel it should never have took place. On April 2nd, 2011, the Road Warriors with Paul Ellering were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame by Dusty Rhodes. There have been many great tag teams in the history of pro wrestling. To many that grew up watching the NWA in the 1980s, there is no argument to be made as who the greatest tag team of all time really is.